Thank you.
Okay. Well, Roya, you want to say something or I'll start?
You start, please.
I
Thank you.
start.
I have already
Okay.
said.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for being here with, well, so many people, huh? About, yeah, 13. We are with 13 people. Maybe someone else will join a little bit later. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have a very scientific mind. It's all about logic for me. When I was in college, I studied math one, math two in Holland. It's physics, chemistry, biology. That were the topics that I liked. Why is that important? Because things need to be logical for me. If things are not logical, I put question marks and I don't understand it. And well, I can learn it. My brain functions well, so I can just learn it by heart, but it doesn't live. When I was a young woman, I was not interested in health. I've always been healthy. I didn't need health care or whatever. Um, but there was a little bit of, yeah, kind of an intuitive spirituality in me that I knew that whatever made this body say what it says, does what it does, and or do what it does, and think what it thinks, that would not die. So I knew there was something addressing this body, make it function, and that part would not die. I didn't know how it worked. I was a teenager when I knew this. I didn't know how it worked. I wasn't really interested in how it worked. I thought, well, I see how it works when I die. And I just went on living. So my interest in health came only when I got children, because children get sick. And I had a pretty critical attitude towards classical medicine. So I was always using my own head. We lived for 15 years abroad. My children were born abroad, except the last one. He was born in Holland, but on the way from one country to another. And abroad, we were in developing countries, there is not much medical care there. So I had to do it myself, or at least basically myself. And when one of my children were sick, I went to the doctor. They prescribed 5, 6 medications, and I started scratching. That knot, that knot, that knot, that knot, that knot. I knew what it was, and then I thought, okay, I knew what it was, and they got sick by themselves. They got healthy by themselves, and I helped them with a little children's aspirin during the night or something. Just grade down the symptoms, sleep well. I slept well, they slept well. If I didn't do that, they were cranky all night. I was cranky. And by the time it got morning, we were all tired. The kid was still sick, and I was moody. And when I gave them the aspirin, we slept all night, and the kid was better, and I was rested, and all things went well. So that was my medicine kit. We came back in Holland in 98. Before that, we had a pied-à-terre, as that is mentioned. So a house in Holland where we lived during the vacations, just to be in touch with Holland. And across from the street was a woman who had one of the first alternative medicine practices, I think. She worked with food, so with healthy food supplements, but also with emotional therapies. Like the NEY, I don't know whether you know that. It's neuro-emotional integration. Is from a Dutch physician, and it's a series of questions asking the body about the origin of physical complaints, mental complaints, behavior problems, things that didn't work out in your life, everything. And he had great results. Well, when one of my when my youngest boy got sick, she saw me carry him to the doctor. And when I came back, she came over and she said, well, I always did that myself when my kids were young. And I thought, whoa, okay. And she introduced me to the alternative way of thinking, like that life is a learning school. She compared it with a class. You go to a certain level, you do that level. When you die, you go on the big holiday, and then you come back. You analyze what you've learned. You come back, you go to the next level, the next class, or the next whatever you call it. And for me, that was logic because I had also seen that whatever we create in matter, what's left of it in 1,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, yeah, it's all gone then. Even the Earth, in a few billion years, even the Earth won't be there anymore. So for me, we have so much focus on the matter, what we do and how matter works, but the whole spirituality behind it is missing. Well, you know that with Qigong, you work with that too. But for me, that was an introduction. And for me, it was logical. Because when there's a conception, there's one cell, and that one cell grows into a baby. How is that possible? If I am pregnant, there's a woman, or there's a hello? Yeah, hello?
There are just a few people who haven't muted yet. If you could mute yourselves, please.
Okay. Everybody muted, yeah. So, where was I? So I was very interested in this other way of thinking that was also logical. And when I am pregnant, there's a man growing inside my womb. But when a dog is pregnant, there's a dog growing inside. How is that possible? Where is the information coming from? And how do the cells know what to do? How it's magical, and we don't need to do anything. So it's such a wonderful process that there's something a lot bigger around than whatever we know. So for me, it was logical that the life here is a learning school. And I started to be interested in also emotional work. So with NEY, I did it also with EFT. It wasn't called EFT back then, but we did it already. I learned it from this neighbor of mine. And I started being interested in the connection religion and healthcare. Because if you don't go to the indigenous people, the medicine man is also the shaman. It's connected. Jesus healed people. In the Middle Ages, when we were sick, we would go to the priests to be helped. So there is a connection between religion and healthcare. Actually, between spirituality and healthcare. So I read, I don't know how many books. I started working with NEY, so the neuro-emotional integration, and I had really bizarre results. People instantly had getting rid of their complaints in one session of just because we were curious, not even with the intention to have it had to help or to treat it, but just working to it, see the emotional origin behind it, and it disappeared. I felt like a witch. I didn't understand it. Well, we came back to Holland in '98. Then we had a horse farm. 4 years later, we sold it, and I fell into a gap. And then I thought, why am I not going to do something with this knowledge that I have now? So I applied for a school in Belgium, and in that school I heard about it was a health therapist. It was called just a basic all-round course, all sorts of therapies that you can use alternatively to help people. And in that school, I heard about German New Medicine. That was in 2005. And the minute I heard it, I thought, wow, this explains why NEY works, why EFT works, why this emotional treatments, and there's a lot, Psyche is there, and there's a lot of methods out there, why they work. Because what German New Medicine tells you is that the mind alters the body, fear alters the body, and that you are creating everything with your mind. Somewhere in your subconscious is something in there that creates a disease. And now I'm going to share my screen because this is the presentation. So what I do, German New Medicine, I don't really do German New Medicine, but I am using German New Medicine as the basis of how I work. And how I work, I discovered through German New Medicine. So I call it Spiology, what I do, and Spiology is the combination of spirituality and biology, because the body is very spiritual. And when you only treat the body, you miss totally the spiritual part. And the body is, how do you say that? Controlled by spirituality. And on the other hand, I also see a lot of people that are very spiritual, but they are fearful of bringing or living the spiritual part. If you live the German New Medicine or the biological laws, you need to live spiritual insights. It's really a combination. So I'll just fly through this. What I will tell you is just knowledge. Do not think that this is a miracle therapy or whatever. It is not a therapy nor a treatment. It is knowledge. And the implications or the consequences of this knowledge are enormous. In fact, it's about the medical lie that they tell us. And we've been told that cancer is deadly. I know it's not. But if you know that it's not, if you're into a cancer process and you get the diagnosis, everybody else thinks it's deadly. So this is the implications are enormous if you know that. I know that a lot of people have a cancer diagnosis that are around here. And me telling you that cancer isn't deadly, it's made deadly, might shock you. And I understand that. But I've seen people, there's so many, stories that somebody is diagnosed with cancer, has 3 months to live, says, okay, if I have 3 months to live, I'm going to enjoy it. And he goes traveling, and a year later he comes back and everything's gone. Why is this possible? How is this possible if cancer is deadly? And there's so many stories of magical remissions and things like that. But there's no research to it. Why have some people have magical remissions and others not? Why do some people survive and others not? And I think that's the interesting part. So the implications of this knowledge are huge, really huge. Can you do something with those implications? I don't know. I don't claim anything. I just tell you about my experience with this research. Please don't believe me. Look in it for yourself. See if it resonates with you, because you are the driver of your body. You are the one who is creating the body and who can change it. It's really about autonomy and own responsibility. So your experiences are the only real evidence. So look into it, see around you, see if you recognize it. And the implications may be shocking, really shocking. So as an introduction, I will follow the way of Dr. Hamer. Yeah, this is a German physician in the year, in the 70s, 78 or something. His name is Dr. Reike Geert Hamer, and he got cancer after the death of his son, traumatic death of his son. And intuitively, he made the connection from this, my cancer. He's always been a strong, healthy guy. And he thought my cancer must have something to do with the death of my son. Well, he worked as an internist in a cancer clinic. So we worked with cancer patients, and he wondered if other people with cancer had also a traumatic experience like him. So we started talking to the people. And by talking to the people, he discovered that every single one of them had a shocking situation, had some kind of trauma still around or in the past. Well, those talks did not explain to him why he got testicle cancer and somebody else lung cancer or liver cancer or bone cancer or whatever. So he started, he went on with his research because he wanted to find out why somebody got which cancer. And at the same time, the end of the 70s, a new diagnostic tool was on the market, the CT scan. And because doctors thought that everything in the body is somehow controlled by the brain, he started studying CT scans. And this combination, yeah, the talks with the people, what the body showed, like complaints and pains and blood values and everything they research, but also what has happened in the life of someone and how did they perceive it. Because of that, he discovered, because of that combination, and also seeing the CT scans, what happens in the brain, he discovered that every cancer is controlled by a specific part of the brain, and by talking to people, he discovered a specific conflict theme. Every cancer has a specific conflict theme. And a conflict theme is not an emotion. A conflict theme is a situation in nature that is life-threatening. So the body associates our emotions with a situation in nature that is life-threatening. And what are situations in nature? See the herd on the prairie. What happens when a young animal wanders away from the herd? Is that a life-threatening situation when he is totally alone on the prairie? Yes, it is. So that is a separation conflict. I'm away from the herd. I'm totally alone on the prairie. A lion might come, a lion might eat me. Yeah, so that is a separation conflict. Same thing happens if you're not strong enough to keep up with a herd. That's a self-devaluation conflict. My muscles are not strong enough. And those are the themes that Dr. Hamer discovered by talking to over 60,000 documented cases. So he had a really, very detailed insight in what happened to people and how they perceived it and how that affected the body. So another theme is, so we have self-devaluations and separations. Another theme is an attack conflict. I'm attacked by a lion. I'm attacked by somebody. I'm not safe. So attack conflicts you have. And there are all sorts of, if you don't get food or you don't get water or you don't get enough air, that are the basic themes. I die of suffocation. I die of drought, lack of water. I die of lack of food. That are very basic themes when there's, for example, a drought and the water pools dry up and the grass withers and there's nothing there anymore. So that are the themes. And by studying the brain scans, he saw, for example, in the breasts, there are two tissues in the breasts. We never hear that, but there are two tissues. There are breast glands and there are milk ducts. Well, the breast glands are controlled from the cerebellum, which is below here. And the milk ducts are controlled here from the top, from the cortex. With everybody, it's the same relay in the brain that controls that tissue. So everybody has the control center of the milk ducts up here. And everybody has the control center of the breasts down there. And the biological program has something to do with its function. So what do the breast glands do? They produce milk. For what? To feed a young. Yeah? So if there's a problem with the offspring, the breast glands multiply. There's a proliferation of the breast glands, more cells, there's a cell plus in order to produce more milk. So what can the body do when a child is sick? Help it by making more food. And if you just look at the function, what happens to the breasts when a woman is pregnant? The breasts grow. Why? There are more cells in there. There's more gland tissue in order to produce milk because a young is coming and you need to feed your child. What happens to the breasts when a child is old enough to be to not being breastfed anymore? The breast goes down. So the extra tissue that has grown during pregnancy is being built down again. That is a normal biological process. And the same happens also when we are worried about a loved one, a child or a partner. What can the body do to help the child or the partner is producing more mother milk. In our society, it's not functional anymore. But we are part of nature. And nature does that. So it's a biological program. Now the milk ducts are controlled here from the top of the brain. And that's a separation conflict. Yeah, the child is being torn from my breasts. Why is this helpful? If a child dies, the glands are still producing milk. And a lot of milk is coming through the ducts, but it's not been eaten anymore. It's not been taken away anymore. And there's the pressure in the breasts is augmenting. And at some point it's so bad and so painful. What do the ducts do? They build down cells here in the middle to widen the ducts so that more milk can be stored. And at the where the nipple is, also there the ducts widen and the milk can drip out. So in fact, this program will take care of the woman and will take care that the pressure in the breasts is diminishing. So the program is helpful. And when the glands stop producing milk, the ducts will heal, and the tissue will grow back. So they are functional biological programs, but they can also be triggered by an emotion with us humans that the body associates with one of the programs. So if the body associates it, for example, your child is immigrating to New Zealand and you're not going to see her anymore or that often, it might be a separation conflict that the woman associates, or the body of the woman associates with the milk ducts. And there's a biological program running in the milk ducts. My child is being torn from my chest. There are 4 colors here, 4 groups. This is about taking care and protecting. This cerebellum are all tissues about protection. The red group is about separation. The milk ducts have been the way a loved one is being separated from you. Are you associating it with being torn from my chest, or is it more a contact? That's also possible. There are lots of tissues here controlled by the cortex that all have to do something with separation. Here, the yellow group is about the metabolism. So it's about food, water, and oxygen that the body needs to survive. And this orange group is about self-devaluation, being not good enough to be part of the herd, something that is very important for us people. So if we see some other tissues here, the pericardium protects the heart. This is about protection. The sweat glands have also a protective function. Think about the skunk. Yeah, it's to chase away somebody that threatens you. The corium skin is protecting our whole body against dirt, UV radiation. It's a big protective layer around the body. Then here the upper skin is about contact. So contact with others, being stroked, being patted, being kissed, being embraced. And if that's not possible anymore because you're separated, there might be a program starting in your upper skin. The cervix is about having sex and getting children. So not being able to get sex, not being able to produce children anymore, sexual frustration. The psyche are 4 relays here, male and female, that explains all the behavior problems that we see. And it's also about survival of the species, because we need a safe herd to be able to grow the children, that children grow up safely. In this group, the breast glands is about survival of the species. And here at the back, we have a visual cortex that might cause farsightedness or nearsightedness. Then here we have the metabolism, and then you see the middle ear. And you might wonder, what does the middle ear have to do with the metabolism? But see again the herd on the prairie. If a predator does not hear its prey, it will not get fed. And if the prey does not hear the predator, it will become food. So the senses are very important on the prairie in order to get food or to prevent becoming food. Then we have the prostate, that's in this group, the survival of the species. For the female, that is the, help me, Linda.
Uterus.
The uterine, yeah, but the uterine mucosa.
Oh, the mucosa, yes.
Yeah, it's there's different tissues in the uterus, so it's not just the uterus, it's the uterine mucosa. And then we have the lungs for the oxygen, metabolism of the oxygen, intestines, metabolism of the food. And then we have the kidney collecting tubes for the water. And also the kidney parenchyma, that's the body of the kidney, is controlled from a spot here on the border of the yellow group and the orange group. And that's about too much water. So when you almost drown, or you see somebody drown, or there's a flood or whatever, then there's a kidney parenchyma program starting. And then survival of the species, testicle and ovaries. And Dr. Hamer had testicle cancer. He lost his child. The theme of those one is a heavy loss. And then we have connective tissues, bones and joints, and that's all about self-evaluation. I'm not good enough. Somebody else is better. I'm the self-image. So what did Dr. Hamer see when he studied the brain scan? Sometimes he saw these concentric rings. Sometimes he saw dark spots that's water, edema in the brain. And sometimes he saw lighter spots. That's tissue that has more blood in it. And it didn't matter where in the brain he saw it. In every group, it was the same principle. So first, these ones, and these ones. And when talking to the people, he discovered that if he saw this, people told him about problems, but people didn't feel sick. Would you study the body, then there were physical changes. If he saw the edema, the black spots in the brain, then people were sick. And sick is not that you have physical changes, but sick means tired, miserable, fever, infections, night sweats. Well, just leave me alone. I'm going to bed. Let me be. So really sick, feeling horrible. And if he saw the light spots, the symptoms were diminishing, or it's something old. And now we come to the most important part, the Hamer compass. He saw that there was the same sequence all the time. It started with the concentric rings. Then something happened, and then where the concentric rings were, edema formed, and the concentric rings dissolved through the edema. And then again something happened, and then this edema will start to dry up from the outside and become tissue that was better nourished because there's more blood in it. And he saw that it all started with a traumatic experience, an impact, or as he said, a DHS, a Dirk Hamer syndrome, because of his own experience with the death of his son. And well, oh my God, what am I going to do here? And in the brain scan, if you look good, you see here the concentric rings. And they are huge. It's like you throw a stone in the water, and these are the waves that radiate out. So, concentric rings. So there's a situation that is dangerous. Yeah, a traumatic experience that is dangerous, life-threatening. And what he saw then, or he called, as long as this traumatic situation is still there, you are in the conflict active phase. There are problems, you're worried, you're thinking. It's the stress phase. The body goes into the fight-flight mode, and it's the cold phase, because fighting and fleeing you do with your muscles, your heart, your lungs, and the blood goes from the extremities, from the hands and feet and skin towards those organs, to the heart, to the muscles, to the lungs, and you have cold hands, cold feet, cold skin. And in fact, the body will do everything to help you survive. The organ that is necessary, for example, in the animal world, the herd is grazing on the prairie and suddenly there's a lion coming. And the lion is hungry. So the lion chooses a prey and he's chasing the prey. This animal has to run faster and longer than he's ever done before. And he needs, for example, more oxygen to accomplish the flight and to become safe again. What does the body do here during this danger? When he is running, the body will very quickly make emergency cells in the lungs so that the animal can inhale enough air and take in enough oxygen to do this flight. So the body is literally helping you to survive. And if more oxygen is needed, there will be a biological program in the lungs that help you to process more oxygen. When the animal reaches the herd, it closes around it, and the big males are standing in front of it, and the lion has no chance anymore. There is a resolution. There is a solution of this problem. The lion is gone. I'm out of danger. What happens? The cells, the extra cells that were formed here are not necessary anymore. And in the, this is called the conflict to Lise. Lise is solution, so the conflict resolution. When the conflict is gone, you enter the post-conflict to Lise, so after the conflict resolution, the A phase. This starts with a sigh of relief. Ah, this lion is gone. The blood rushes from the muscles and the heart and the important organs back to the skin and the feet and the hands. So it's the warm phase. Warm hands, warm feet, warm skin. And there's swelling. And in the brain, you see the edema, yeah, as also in the organ. So if the lungs made extra cells here, the lungs will experience now some edema, and that will make you short of breath. And in fact, this shortness of breath will trigger the old conflict. I don't have enough oxygen. Being afraid of these symptoms will cause you to trigger the old conflict. So fear of a situation, fear of symptoms will trigger old but also new conflicts. And that's why fear is so dangerous. It's all about fear. What happens here in the healing phase? The cells that are built up here are built down here. The body is going back to its original self. But while it is going back to its original cells, it is telling you what it did for you here. And the shortness of breath will tell you that you were in danger of dying because of a lack of oxygen or air. It's also possible. Here the body starts talking to you. And with animals, we had a situation with a lion on the herd. How long does a lion chase an antelope? 30 seconds? So either the antelope dies because the lion catches it, and then okay, then it's that's final. Or if he manages to reach the herd in time and he's protected again, there's a solution. The animal will be really tired for a couple of hours. It will sleep deeply. There might be some water from the nose that you say he has a cold, and it's red and it's finished. So with us, a traumatic experience might be a resignation. No, you're fired. What happens when you're fired? A lot of people get a lot of stress. How am I going to feed my family? Three studying children. How am I going to pay for the study? How am I going to do that? So a lot of stress. We're the only species that need to pay to walk on this earth. It's ridiculous. There's abundance, but shortages are created, and we all need jobs to survive, and often just barely. Yeah, so losing a job is a big thing with us humans. And a lot of conflicts, like also I know somebody who went broke and who got the lung program. And the lung program, people, when Dr. Hamer discovered the lung program, people told him about being scared to death of something. He has called that a death fright. So when we talk about a death fright, there will be, or there can be, a program in the lungs running. And I knew somebody who went broke, and that cost all his savings for the old day. So he was suddenly out of money. And that was in March 2013 or something. And then in about May or June, he had a part resolution. The being broke, how do you say that? This whole thing of changing it or getting through it, arranging all of it, takes time. So about June, he knew, okay, we are getting on top of this, but it wasn't really finished yet. But in June, he started coughing. He got his first shortness of breath. He went to a hospital and got the diagnosis lung cancer. And he said, okay, I want to know what's going on, but I'm not going to do chemo or radiation. I'm going to do it my way. And he started supplements and all sorts of things alternatively. And he had himself checked in the hospital. In December, the whole going broke. How say it? What is the word? Faillissement. Linda, when somebody goes broke?
Bankrupt.
Bankrupt, right.
Oh,
the
thanks,
whole
Marcia.
bankruptcy. The whole bankruptcy was finished, was done. Then he got really sick. And in this phase, when you have a lung program, you in fact have lung tuberculosis. It are the TBC bacteria that help the body build down the cells that are here built up. And that's accompanied with night sweats, real severe night sweats that can be foul smelling, and extreme tiredness, extreme fatigue. And the journey to the bathroom is too much. And he all experienced that in December. For 3 weeks, he was just completely out, couldn't do a thing. And then in January, he got a little bit better. And somewhere at the end of January, he joined a presentation of me in Holland. And I explained the lung process, or the lung program, actually. And he recognized everything, everything. What happens during the crisis, this is a very intense moment. It's a short stress impulse, and the edema that is formed here to help the healing phase in the organ, but also in the brain, is being expelled. And cells are fed by blood. Yeah. If cells are being built down there might be some blood coming free and mixing with the water. When the edema is expelled, yeah, you might see blood in it. So you might cough up blood. You might see blood in your stool. You might see blood in your urine, or vomiting blood. How do we perceive that? If that happens, what do we think? 911, oh my God. In Europe, 112, oh my God, now it's going completely wrong. What do the biological laws tell you? Congratulations. You're almost there. This is the last bit. Hey? You've resolved the conflict. You went through the healing phase. The healing phase is at the end. Yeah. The edema is pressed out. And here, there's not much going on anymore. So when you get sick, you're actually healing. Microbes help you heal. They're your partners. They're your friends. They're not your enemies. In fact, there's been tests, a number of tests, I mean, more than 100 tests that people were injected with colonies of microbes that would cause a certain disease, and they didn't become ill. It's not the microbes that cause the disease. The microbes are part of it. It's a symptom. And they help you heal. It's a totally different way of looking at microbes. Infections do not exist. You do not get infected by microbes. If I sneeze and 2 or 3 microbes are reaching your mouth and getting into your throat, do you think that 2 or 3 microbes will affect the millions or billions that are already in your throat and make you ill? No, it's the fear of being infected that makes you ill, not the microbes. It's all about perception, all about fear. So when the virus is another story. Louis Pasteur discovered bacteria under a microscope somewhere in the 1800 something, and he said microbes are the cause, bacteria are the cause of diseases. When in 1918 the Spanish flu arrived, they didn't see bacteria. So there was a conclusion, there must be smaller things that cause the disease here. But up until now, they've never found a virus. And especially not a virus that causes an illness. There's a German microbiologist, a virologist it was, it's Stefan Lanka. You can look him up. He discovered it. He is a virologist, and he saw a virus going from one algae to another algae, and the other algae did not get sick. And he started from how is that possible, and how is this with people? And with people, he didn't find this principle. So with algae, yes, it is possible. And for me, my husband, he's a plant physiology, and he said a virus is a chunk of DNA. Other chunks of DNA, yes. So a virus are chunks of DNA. An antivirus is also a chunk of DNA. So they're chunks of DNA floating around, and they are called viruses, and they are made the cause of illnesses. but it's never been proven. There was a site called Virus Mania or something like that, the Virus Myth, virusmyth.com, where scientists said, if there's a virus and it causes diseases, then there should be some evidence of viruses and also that it is causing the disease, and there aren't. So we are being lied to over and over and over again. And that's but that's why this knowledge is so important. But you have to do it alone. This is forbidden knowledge. Doctors who are interested in it, I know a few. Most of them have retired, so then they're free, and then they can start studying this. And the few that I know that are not retired yet, are not old enough, they either disappeared or they told me, I cannot even say that I'm interested. I have to stay far from it. I shouldn't mention it because I lose my function. I'm not allowed to work with it. For example, a Belgian eye doctor told me that. She came to two of my workshops, was very interested in it, but she said, I really cannot mention this. I cannot even mention my interest in it. So my husband at one point had blood in his stool, and he said, Mies, I've got blood in my stool. I said, yeah, it's crisis. Okay, he went on. A day later, Mies, I've again blood in my stool. I said, yeah, that's possible. He was in a commission. He worked for the farmers as a representative for the interests of the farmers. And he was in a commission in the government, and he felt that this whole commission, which was supposed to help the farmers, it was just all turned around. And through that commission that was supposed to help the farmers were stuck with what the government wants. And the government has said, yeah, you decided it yourself. So it's all a game, and that was for him indigestible. So every time he had to go to this commission, he had every program has something to do with its function, and if something is indigestible, it comes in your intestines because the intestines digest food. What do what does the body do when there's an indigestible morsel, like a wolf that eats a part of a shoe or so? There's an indigestible morsel in it. That the intestines start to help to digest this into the digestible morsel by making extra cells, having extra juices to have digestion juices and kneading and everything to do. Everything that makes this indigestible morsel smaller and digested partly so that it can go through. So here you get super intestines. And here, again, like within the lungs, you are very, very, very tired, suffering of night sweats. The journey to the bathroom can be too long, really intense fatigue, which is part of the program. And then when the crisis comes, you might find blood in your stool. With a lighter program, you haven't even noticed this. You might be a bit more tired than normal during the night, or in the evening, but yeah, during the night, usually, and this is also a normal day-night rhythm. During the night, there's the crisis, and in the morning, you find a bit of blood. So when he told me a second time, I said, yeah, you're still in that commission. It's indigestible for you. Okay. He went on again. And then a week later, Mies, I still have blood in my stool. I said, yeah, that's possible. Huh? It's still indigestible, that commission. So you don't die from it. And then he said, yeah, but I don't want to die now. And then I thought, oh, okay, there's still fear. So I explained him the intestinal program. And I told him, be glad that there's every night some blood in your stool, because that means that during the day, when you have this indigestible morsel, when you come home, it resolves, the extra cells are being built down, you start sleeping, and in the morning, it's all expelled, and you're fine again. If you do not go into resolution every night, you can build up a much bigger tumor, what they call a tumor, and then if you get out of this commission or you retire, then you can have a lot worse program. So be happy that you resolve it every night, and it's just a little bit blood. You don't even feel it. It doesn't hurt. You don't have symptoms. The only thing is, if you're afraid of it, don't look in the bathroom. Don't look in the toilet. My daughter, she went to a therapist, and he helped her twin brother that apparently didn't make it in the womb, but he was still around, and he helped her say goodbye to this twin brother and help the twin brother go to the other side. And her whole world looked differently. And that was on a Friday, and she stayed the weekend with us, and she was kind of a little bit, overwhelmed and a bit, the world looks different. It's all very different now. And then on Tuesday, she rang me and she said that she had blood in her stool. And we talked about this session and that it was undigestible and wow, what the body tells you and blah, 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 blah. And then we ended the conversation. And then I thought, what did she think when she saw the blood in her stool? So I rang back and I said, Marianne, what did you, when you saw the blood in your stool, what went through you? And she was quiet for just 1 second. And then she said, oh, hee hee, how funny. That is the right reaction. Oh, hee hee, how funny. We've ended the program. It's all right. Nothing is going wrong. If you go to a hospital, then there's a lot of fear, a lot of interpretations, intestinal cancer and things like that. But in fact, after a few days, it'll be gone. When you are being made afraid of it, you will start to have another program. So, the crisis in the brain looks like this. How is that diagnosed? How do they see that in classical medicine? As a brain tumor. A brain tumor arises in the crisis and after that. Because after the crisis, you enter the post-conflict release, after the conflict resolution, the B phase, and nothing much is happening there. And there's a cleaning, a tidying, the body goes back to normal. It's the longest phase, but you don't have any conflicts. You really get better. And this darker spot will fill up with tissue, lighter tissue that has more blood in it. And this is also called a brain tumor. So a brain tumor is something that is a remnant of an old program, or it is in the PCOB and nothing much is going on there. The fear for the brain tumor is much worse than the brain tumor. And I know people who told me, I never felt it. But when I got the diagnosis, I felt it. And then I work with them and tell them this knowledge and knowing from, look, the brain tumor is what can be dangerous is the edema in the brain. If there's a lot of edema in the brain and the skull is a hard, unflexible rim around it, the edema cannot move outside like a balloon. If the skull holds it there, and if there's a lot of edema, it can build up a lot of pressure, and you can have a real bad headache, and even have some functional loss because of the pressure of the edema. But when the edema is pressed out, like here, there's no problem anymore. And those people told me, when the knowledge sank in, it has to really go into your body. And we say that the fear is between the ears. No, fear is in the body. Everything is in the body. The body has experienced something that was life-threatening back then, and it will never experience that anymore. The fear is not between the ears, but the fear is in the body. And it's the body that's been made afraid of the word cancer. And the body will do everything to survive. But by doing that, it will make new biological programs, and you go again into healing, which is interpreted and associated with, a life-threatening situation, and you go into circles that you do not get out of. So what is the solution? Is to work on your fear of the word cancer. Because the fear for the word is worse than the process that you're in. If you are really sick and you need help, because some people are so weak and so sick, you need help. In the old days, there were sanatoria. Do you know them? Especially for lung patients, they went in the 40s and the 50s. They went to sanatoria in Switzerland, and with the clean air, and they healed. Now there are no sanatoria anymore. The lung TB is now not lung TB anymore, but lung cancer. It's not lung tuberculosis, but lung cancer. And you get chemo, and you die. Because now it's called cancer. It wasn't cancer. It was a heavy program, and you needed help. But in the old days, they still knew how that worked. And now they don't anymore. It's called cancer, and cancer is deadly. And the perception that it's deadly will cause a new conflict, and the conflict will run again. A new conflict will run with a healing phase. And then if it's another program, if it's the same program, then the cancer is back. But if it's another program, like, for example, you have a breast program or whatever, another program, but because of the diagnosis, you get a death fright. And there's a lung program running. And then they say the breast program has metastasized. No, there's a new program. I have on tape a conversation with an oncologist and her patient, where at some point the oncologist says, there's never been discovered cancer in the blood. But that same oncologist will tell you that cancer metastasizes through the blood and the lymph. But there's never found a cancer cell in the blood. Think about it. If cancer metastasizes through the blood, how is it possible that they've never found a cancer cell in the blood? So cancer is a different story. And I know you all have cancer. Almost everybody that's listening now. So we can find out which program there's running. The program itself is less dangerous than the fear for the program. And it's working on your fear, and knowing this, having this hurt once, having this hurt twice, having this hurt 100 times will not make your fear go away. It might if it really resonates for you. But to lose the fear, especially when you are into healing and have complaints and need help, and all the people around you that help you are scared, then the doctors say things that you had that aggravates your fear again. It's really difficult. But not knowing this and only knowing that cancer is deadly, what do you do then? Then there's really no chance of surviving. So for me, the best thing is to know this before you get sick, when you're still healthy. Then you're prepared. I mean, if I and my husband last year, he had a crisis, and I told you about blood in the stool, but another symptom of the crisis is an insult, a brain insult. He had a brain insult, or how do you say that? Help me out.
Brain infarction?
Yeah, a brain infarction, something like that. So he lost control of his muscles. He hardly could stand up. He was peeing in his pants. He couldn't tie his pants up anymore. His blouse was crooked. He was swaying. His eyes were like this, and he could hardly look. And he had an absence. Here you can also have an absence. That's partly losing consciousness. Not completely. He could hear. He followed instructions, but he didn't say anything. He was like a little dog. I could tell him do this, do that, and he did it. And but I have to support him. So I sent him to the bathroom. I told him, you're going to take off your pants, you're going to get you a clean underwear, and you're going to go to bed. And you stay there. You're not going to go down. I don't want you to fall down the stairs. And there was around 3:30 in the afternoon that we discovered that something was not quite right with him. But I knew immediately this was the crisis. Okay, this is the crisis. I have to help him through. And it got worse during the evening. His balance got worse. The absence got worse. I asked him, look, if you need something, yell. He didn't yell. We just heard him stumble upstairs. So then I went up and helped him again. At one point, he fell down and couldn't get up. And I couldn't, he's more than 100 kilos. I couldn't lift him up either anymore. So I called my daughter and we picked him up on both sides, put him back on the bed. And that's how we went into the night. And I knew this is just the crisis. And in the morning, I woke up and we have a horse farm, so we had to feed the horses. And I told them, look, you're going to stay in bed. You're going to stay upstairs, not going down. I don't want you to fall down. And then he said, yeah, I know that already now. And then I thought, wow, he's back. Less than a day. It was gone. And recovering from the crisis also takes some time. So that's about 2 or 3 days that he had to recover from the crisis. It's a stress impulse, and it can, affect you. But within 1 day, he went through it. What would have happened if we would have called 112? We would have had with the yelling sirens and the lights and all stressed helpers and putting things in his nose and getting him out of his safe environment. At home is still a safe environment. Going to a hospital, all the perceptions over there. What would that have done to him? Would he have recovered that quick? Within a day? I don't think so. And I've also experienced that this is the thinking phase and the stress phase. So you use your muscles. This is the tension phase and the thinking phase. And this is the relaxing phase, the sigh of relief. And the feeling phase. Here you start feeling with your body what it did for you there. It's talking to you here. If you stimulate the feeling phase, let the symptoms be there. Feel them with your body. Feel all the sensations in your body and become limp. Get all the tensions out of your body because of the symptoms. Then the symptoms are all right. You ride along with the symptoms. They're not a danger anymore to you and to the body. Very, very important that the body doesn't see the symptoms as a threat anymore. And I have seen accelerations from 3 weeks to 2 days, or 3 days to 2 hours. I've experienced it myself with small things. So feel, and I know you do that with Qigong, you feel. Roya, you told me you went through emotions, but emotions are about a situation and are accompanied with an active phase. What do the emotions do with your body? Where do you find the sensations in your body? I don't know Qigong, but I know that there are a lot of people who told me, oh, but I've worked on this and that, and had 30, 40, 25 years, all sorts of therapies, and felt through this and felt through that, and they work with me, and I go to the sensations in their body. And then they say, wow, I thought I've lived through this, and still it's there. Because the body is the basis of everything. It's in the body that it happens. The body experiences the biological program, not your mind, the body. Work with the body. And check if you do Qigong and the exercises, whether you work with the body. So I got once, this is a nice example, my teeth have been destroyed in my elementary school period by a dentist who saw all sorts of holes in there. When I got to high school, I was allowed. My mother said, well, you go to the dentist yourself now. You're in a big city and we are not going to the small village dentist anymore. It's easier for you. And in fact, I went once. They got all the fillings out. And that was, for me, it was, okay, that's fine. I'm not going there anymore. So I didn't go to the dentist for years. And if I went, I didn't have a hole, nothing. So how it is possible that from my 6th to my 12th, I had my whole, all my teeth filled with holes. And then after 12, after 13 years old, I had nothing. So when I knew this, I also knew that teeth also recover. When you have a toothache, you're in the healing phase. Congratulations. And I didn't go to the dentist anymore since 2008. And I've had all those fillings came out. I've had so many toothaches. And I felt through them in my body. I felt the sensations in my body. So at one point, I got a toothache at night when we went to bed. I thought, I have a toothache. Wrong reaction is not welcoming it. It's a wrong reaction. So, okay, what do I need to do? Oh yeah, I have to feel it. I have to become the pain. I have to get into there. I have to go into my teeth, become my tooth. I want to become my tooth. Very intensively and stressful becoming my tooth. So it didn't work. I was in the stress phase. Then I thought, okay, this doesn't work. What should I do now? Oh, I have to become limp. I have to become limp. Okay, I have to become limp, become limp, become limp. Very stressful becoming limp. Didn't work. And then it became the next morning. I had the whole night, I had a toothache. And my husband went out of bed, and then I thought, and now I have to be the pain, or I will be there for the rest of the day. And then it worked. I became the tooth. And what I called pain was kadoof, 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 kadoof. It was like the heartbeat in the tooth. And at the moment that you're in that pain, and you don't call it pain anymore, just the sensation, and you feel the kadoof, 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 it was wonderful. Wow, how wonderful to be the tooth. I fell asleep. I woke up half an hour later and the toothache was gone. Just gone. Finished. Didn't come back either. When you really do it, become the sensation and become limp. The body lives in a now. It's triggered in the now. Something old might be the origin, but it's triggered in the now. The body is really living in the now. And the body does not know that death exists, because death in the now is not here. So it doesn't know. It only knows that you die when you die. Before that, not. But pain is for the body the closest alternative. The body will always prevent pain. It is afraid of pain, and it will start a biological process in order, or program in order to fight the pain. But the pain is part of a healing. Of course, when you have an accident, then it's a damage from outside. In our society, the pains that are in an illness program is because is a healing phase. Your body is healing. You don't need to have a therapy or anything. You are healing. But the body itself is afraid of the pain. It will start a biological program. So what do? You be the pain. Go into the pain and become limp. And by becoming limp, you tell the body, hey, pal, this pain is all right. It's about a healing phase. It's totally all right. You don't need to fight it. And if you do that, and then the pain diminishes, it also, that's a very part 5, Linda. Then we can start explaining this. Why the pain goes down the moment you feel it, be it, and are completely all right with it. And if you feel it and be it, your fear is gone. Because fear is always for the future. It can be 2 seconds from now, or 1 second from now, but it's always in the future. And if you become the pain, immerse yourself completely in the tooth or your belly or wherever you have pain, and you become limp and tell the body, look, don't be afraid of the pain, then the pain will go down. It might not go away completely, but it will go down. It will start to quieten, you will start to quieten, because fear, the physical manifestation of fear is pain. If you get afraid of pain, your pain becomes worse. If you relax in the pain becomes less. And I've really seen people and talked to people that when I talk to them in a conversation of 10, 15, 20 minutes, pain's gone completely. Even with the worst, I've had a man with bone cancer. If I was with him and talked to him and let him completely relax and just give himself over to the situation, he was completely out of pain. That pain would come back the moment the stress comes back, but at that moment, there's no pain. So you can learn to manage pain in another way. So that are the implications of the biological laws. And it's only a knowledge. It doesn't heal you. It doesn't make your fear go away. It doesn't cause you to survive. But you can look at your whole process in a different way. And maybe that will help you. And that's why we do the basic workshop, the Trust Your Body. That's really about this, that you start seeing how we start with this. This is actually an introduction for the workshop too. How we start with this, it's just a general introduction, nothing specific. But every part, it's 17 parts, every part tackles another subject and makes this knowledge deepen, go into your system. And slowly you will be able to experience it. And we talk about the feeling also during the Q&A. We talk about the feeling, and people experience it. Then, this morning I helped somebody who had a cold. She just had a cold, and we analyzed it. What was wrong? What was the stress phase? When did it go into resolution, and why? What insights did you get out of it? And go feel it. And the woman immediately, she said, okay, I'm becoming more quiet. It gets more rested in my head. I'm going to be more relaxed. And then to go through a healing phase, if there's stress, the healing stops. If you can avoid stress, the healing goes very quick. We've become masters in generating stress to prevent ourselves from healing. So those are the consequences of this knowledge. And it's your choice what to do with it. I cannot heal you. A doctor cannot heal you. You can only heal yourself. And let me see. This we are going to race through. I want to see some their useful processes. This is nice. So the biological laws are a different medical paradigm. Yeah, it's only a knowledge. You have modern medicine, the paradigm of modern medicine, and the paradigm of biological laws. And modern medicine, all the symptoms they fight against with all antibiotics, antipsychotics, anti-allergics, immunosuppressants, but everything that the body does by itself is being suppressed. And the biological laws say, no, you don't need to fight them, you just can surrender. So modern medicine thinks that the body makes mistakes, there are dysfunctions. No, biological law says the body functions optimal, but it's also about consciousness. Yeah, this modern medicine does not take in account consciousness and growing in consciousness. The biological laws, what is the use of life? What is the purpose of life? I have to say. That's growing consciousness. It's all about consciousness. And consciousness is the healing phase. Here the body starts talking to you, and here you can become conscious of your very deep inner perceptions. So the healing phase is about consciousness. The active phase is about survival. And for the body, survival always has priority over healing. Always. Because to become conscious, first you need to survive. So the body will always want to survive. And for the body, second, is growing in consciousness, but the purpose of life is here. So the purpose of life is in this function, and it's always optimal. So this dysfunction is useless, nay, it's useful. It's malignant, no, it's necessary. It's deadly, no, it's all about survival. Here we are being attacked by microbes and we are getting sick because of microbes. No, we live in symbiosis with microbes. We work together with microbes. We consist of microbes. Every cell is in fact a microbe. So this program, of course, by chance, no, they're useful programs to assure survival and becoming conscious. They're unpredictable. No, they're predictable. If you know what program there is, you know what you could expect. So we are part of nature. These are the leaves, or the close-up of a small leaf, the nerves of a leaf. These are the blood vessels in the heart, arteries and coronal arteries and veins. And this is the Amazon from the space seen from above. Yeah, so above, so below. And then, okay, this I will skip here. So this is not only a new way of looking at diseases, it's a complete new consciousness that you can use in everything, all aspects of your life. And then there's a book, it's called Christ Returns. And there's a passage in there, the nature, the characteristic, the foundation of the divine creative power or the universal reality is life. When this is active within the individual life forms, it creates growth, it nourishes and nurtures, it regenerates, it heals, it protects, it assures survival, it fulfills all needs of every living being, all within a system of perfect harmony, cooperation, law, and order. That is the characteristics, the essence of life. And all the work that life performs is done in accordance with the essence of the divine creative power. And that is to create joy, beauty, and comfort to all living things. And that is love. If you give yourself over to the divine creative power that is working in your body, that controls all your cells of your body, then that divine creative power will always want to create joy, beauty, and comfort for you. The only thing that can come in between is the human spirit, the human creative power. And also there, Christ Returns says that the creative power of the humans in comparison with the universe is as a candle in comparisons with the sun. But you can burn yourself on a candle. We have divine creative power. We create our body. Everything that happens in the body is our creation. And we have to figure out what fear, what anxiety, what situations cause those anxieties, and how we can get past this fear creation. And then we start to create joy, beauty, and comfort to ourselves, but also to our loved ones. That is the universe. And that's what the universe is all about. But he says, before a new world can be established, everything that has been created in consciousness will have to be lived through within materialized human experiences. And that is again the hammer compass. Everything that we create in thought, in deeds, in experiences, everything that our consciousness has created has to be lived through in materialized human experiences. What we create by our perception of a situation will manifest itself here in order to be lived through. Not to be fought against, but to be lived through. We have to experience what we create ourselves. And it's not that it's our fault. As somebody told me that the conscious part of our consciousness experience about 60 bits per second if you compare to a computer. Our subconscious part experiences 11 million bits per second. So what do we know what's living in our consciousness or in our body? Nothing. The only thing we know is when it starts talking with symptoms, with behavior, with, well, observe yourself, observe your body, feel the sensations in your body. And the sensations in your body will trigger emotions. And they can be there too. The sensations should be there. They should be lived through. They want to be heard. They want to be felt. They want to be seen. They want to be recognized and acknowledged. And then they will let you go. You have nothing to let go. They will let you go. When you have lived through and you have experienced it to the full, then they will let you go. And it goes automatic if you're prepared to live through. Live through your perception of situations, live through everything that has been created in your consciousness. And that's a lot bigger than only this life. It's about our ancestral line. It's about former lives. It's about everything. And we are in the end time. All shit has to come out. So be prepared to feel, to experience, to live through things. And if you're really doing that, I'm always amazed how fast that goes. 10, 20 minutes, top. Okay. I don't know whether I've been talking a lot. This is a nice one. You all speak English. I don't need to translate. The greatest evil trick played upon mankind was teaching man that his body's self-cleaning programs are diseases that require poison for treatment. It says it all, I think. So, that's in a nutshell what you can do for the rest of your life, because this is a way of living. And when you have one insight and you maybe think I'm there. No, you're not there. The next one will come. And one of the other 11 minus 60 million things that you haven't experienced or seen yet will come knocking on the door. Enjoy the process. It's a very, how do you say that? Interesting, exciting, fascinating process.
Mies, if you will stop your screen share, we'll be able to see each other. Good, better. Well, you already know that I love your material. Do you want to give people an opportunity to give you feedback?
Ask questions. What happened to you when you hear this? Please. Yeah, Georgia?
You just explained to me my mother-in-law. She's 103. She never goes to the doctor. She has things happen. She was with her walker when she was 100, trying to take an old computer out to the garbage, fell over, and crawled to the door, had a black eye, and she didn't let anybody know. And so, somebody came over later in the day and she said, no, 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 it's all going to be fine. She went through this phase of everything and it healed. She got, she's now 103. She got this sore on her leg. It looked like somebody had cut down to the bone. She said, I don't know what happened. Just clean it, wear a Band-Aid. It's healed. I mean, it's her whole life. And she keeps going, I'm so ready to go. I don't know why they're not letting me go. Her hearing's gone. All these things are gone. And she's just a joy. And in the 1950s, she became a student of Krishnamurti. I don't know if you're familiar with his Indian sage. He was quite amazing. And it's kind of been the proponent of her whole life. And and so it's the old way, never going to doctors. Yeah.
No.
So,
well, if you have a broken bone, then it's nice that they can fix it. But the body heals it itself.
Yeah.
They can just put the two pieces together, but then the body has to do it itself. So.
Well, you're exactly what I've been looking for. I am, quote, healthy. I don't have any, what are they, somebody telling you got something wrong. But I keep going to, I know that's how I got in Qigong. I just know it's all within us. I always think about our hands, but I know there's a lot of things. I had a lot of fear and I've gone through things and I keep working, but this is the next step. So I appreciate Linda sharing it with me, and I appreciate finding you, and I want to sign up for your course.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions Stephanie?
Yeah, I just want to also thank you. I feel like this is something that I really knew but didn't know, that you've reminded me. And would like to learn more. And also I wondered if you do private sessions.
Yeah. That can be too. I'm not a therapist, but I always say do the workshop, because the workshop it's not meant to be therapeutic, but it is. Because you discuss with others, and others have other experiences. You learn from each other. We go through the material. You get tips and tricks, but beside that, if you say, I really would like to talk to you privately about my own issues and symptoms, or diagnose, or whatever, or what's situations, then that's also possible.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, thank you. I'll ask Linda or Roya for your contact info.
Yeah.
And I have to jump off, but I really appreciate this.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. And it's very nice to hear that you knew it, but not know it. That's so recognizable. Yeah.
Yes,
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Talk to you later. Yeah. Any other questions? And
thank you so much. I love your presentation. Beautiful it was, all of it. And I know this stuff as well. So anyway, my question is, I've been trying to get people to understand some of this, but they don't understand. And when it comes to the crisis thing, then you see, I got it in my family. The crisis happened with my sister, and the crisis happened with my best friend. And then they don't listen anymore. Well, they never listen to me anyway, but they don't want to, I don't have the courage
The courage. Yeah.
that you managed to have with your, I think it was your husband, you said you took him through the looked like a stroke.
Yeah.
And the courage you have, it's just, I need some of that.
I'd like
But
to
that's
comment here. And if you, I mean, even if you don't take Misa's course, if you get on her websites and start looking around, there's a Google Translate. Google Translate will not translate Dutch perfectly into English, but it might get close enough that you get ideas about things. Mies, in her material, and in Carolyn Markelin's material, which is also free and available online, gives so much information that allowed me to have so much peace that even though I'm suffering, quote unquote, with symptoms and don't have the best health, etc., I now know, it's not just a belief, I know that I'm on the right track with this, because it puts the power back where it belongs.
in you.
I am connected with my own internal being through this knowledge. She's teaching through this knowledge that didn't necessarily originate with her. It originated with Dr. Hammer, but she's expanded on this knowledge. And I think if you just begin, your courage builds as you learn. It can't all be taught in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. This is like a drop in the bucket, but hopefully it's enough of an overview that you can see value for deeper exploration. So sorry, Mies, I just really felt compelled to jump in and say that
You're very welcome.
I'm just a lay person too. And so, but that's my experience as someone coming in kind of fresh to this.
Yeah,
Thank
what you all let me what?
what I wanted to say, thank you, Linda. My question is like how to hold the floor, how to hold the space, like you did with your husband. This is really inspiring to me. This is what, because someone has to hold a space with a person that's going through the
Yeah.
crisis.
But it's
And
not only me, huh? It's also my husband. He didn't study it, but he's lived alongside with me doing it, and with the horses and with the children and with clients and stories. And yeah, he's seen it so often that his fear for the hospital is a lot greater than whatever is going on with his body. So when we were at that point that he couldn't get himself a bride, and I wasn't able to help him anymore, we needed with the two of us. My daughter started to panic a little bit, and he said, "Yeah, Mom, we can't handle this alone. We need help." I told him, or I asked him, "Look, if this goes on, then maybe we might have asked for some help and call a hospital." And then he said, "No, no hospital, no hospital." So if the person himself, even though he has an absence and is not really present, is scared, with anybody else, I would get him to a hospital. Even I know it's not sensible. Maybe if they really, yeah, but even then, if it was somebody that I found a known person or a not known person, what if things go wrong? And what is wrong? Eh? What if, well, finally they go to a hospital, or they come by and they start accusing you of not bringing you to a hospital. what then? That's why it's really, and like your grandmother, Georgia, it's really your own responsibility. And if, I don't know what I would do if I found somebody, but I think I would call 911. If I would find somebody in the street, somebody I don't know, or even somebody I know, but is not in my course, or I don't know him enough, it's not that simple.
No.
Because you can, it is a forbidden knowledge, and sometimes letting it go, letting it go can be, because there are things in your subconscious that you haven't figured out and that's triggering the program all the time. Sometimes you need to go to a doctor. At one point, I had a woman who lost a lot of blood, and her HB, her homo, I don't know what that is in English, but the value was 3.2, and 3.2 is almost, that's your red blood content or so. You need to go to a hospital. You need to be, you need a blood transfusion or something, or at least you need rest. It's not that simple. And you also need to know when to give space. When can you give space? So don't think you can help your family. If the family themselves are very afraid and are not into this, you cannot help them. And the only thing you can do is feel what it does to you that they don't want to listen. And become at peace with that. Because they're on their path, in their life phase, in their consciousness class with all their former lives and future lives. And you don't know why they need to experience this. Even with your children, you don't know what their path is. So we've had with Corona, I started online with Corona, we've had so many discussions of people not wanting to be vaccinated and their children would be vaccinated, and what a disaster, and how can they do it? And I always said, look, who are you to tell your children what to do or not? You don't know what their lives, their soul's purpose is of this life. Maybe they need to experience that to go into the next step. Get at peace that they want to be vaccinated. Feel the pain that they are not doing what you want. And of course, you can decide for a small child, but even for a teenager is already tricky.
Let go of everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, let go of everything. Yeah. Barbara, you want to say something?
Yes. Thank you so much for this. I knew it, and it's nice to hear that again.
Okay,
I
good.
knew it intuitively. I had a stroke when I was 21.
Okay.
And aphasic and right-sided paralysis. And I have trouble moving my hand. That's, I recovered. And I question, just if a stroke or if an illness happens in childhood, then I question whether you have to go through a trauma. And if it lasts, like, my right hand and wrist, what you can really do to let it go, to surrender?
To surrender. You can't let it go. Actually, I don't know. I'm sure that's kind of, what is trauma? And when it's about cancer, that's usually a big, a very shocking situation, something like a bankruptcy or a separation, and when you divorce, especially an ugly divorce, is something that you remember, or a heavy loss when you lose a child or you lose your mother too young, or those are things that are everybody can remember. And Dr. Hamer says it's a traumatic, isolated, that there are certain characteristics of the incident for a biological program to arise. But for me, it's even a remark of somebody, a small thing, like somebody. Bye, Andrea. You're going? Okay. Bye bye. I have a friend who told me that she got a cold in September, and also a cold is of a traumatic experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, but what is traumatic? When she read an example in a book that somebody got a cold because it was the end of the summer and bad weather was coming, and in Dutch we call it dirty weather. And this dirty weather and blah, I don't want to go through this winter again, made her in the healing phase getting a cold. So
Mhm.
everybody knows that winter is coming again, but still the realization summer is over gave her a
Mhm.
cold. So is that
Yes.
a traumatic experience? But she got goosebumps when she heard that story. So I really felt sorry for the summer being over and that we got this ugly weather again.
You know,
So
oh, sorry. I remember before my stroke,
mhm.
I broke up with my boyfriend and went
Ah,
with another boyfriend who I was engaged to, but I really did not feel right. And that critical juncture of my life at 21 was traumatic.
yeah. So, and
You
when
know,
you got out of this situation, a little bit later, you got a stroke.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
yes,
But then had the panic and also what was said when you had the stroke. Some predictions like, oh, she's never going to use her hand anymore. That sort of thing go into your consciousness and might
yes,
influence you, even if you're unconscious, your subconscious
yes.
hears it.
Well, you know, the therapist that I was working with my hand, um, said to me at the end of 3 months, you'll never use your hand again.
Paf.
And that was really a traumatic experience.
Yeah. But that's also how we are creators. And if you believe what a therapist says, we are creating it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you might undo that
Mm-hmm.
even now. Whether your command of your hand will come back, whether you will be able to use it completely, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But go back to the words of that therapist,
Mm-hmm.
and feel what it did. Feel the sensations in your body. Go back to that conversation and feel what your body made of it. Feel the sensations in your body.
Yes.
Feel the sensations in your hand and know
Mhm.
this is her perception, her experience,
Yes.
her consciousness, and it has nothing to do with mine.
Yes. Yeah, I remember staying awake that night and not talking to my parents, just, going dismally to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
So
would
that's the danger of the prognosis and the diagnosis. And I also say that if you have a diagnosis, don't look up on the internet what the diagnosis is about. Because you are going to create it. If you think you need medication for some reason, don't read the paper that's accompanied by it. Because all the side effects that you read, you're going to create. You better decide, and this is what I need now. It's just temporarily to support me through this phase. That's why I do it. I welcome it as my friend. This will help me through, and it's completely all right. And all other things that they tell you about it, disregard it. Don't read it. Don't go on the internet. Yeah, because it gives you how do you say that? Beperkend. Constricted convictions. It constricts you. It
limiting
beperkend.
beliefs.
Huh?
Are you saying it's creating a limiting belief?
Yeah, right. It creates limiting beliefs and wrong beliefs. Also, that the thing that the perception cancer is deadly starts running its own course, and you create your own death because you think it's deadly.
Mies, I
Yeah.
would like to offer something to Barbara. If we remember the Hammer compass, you're in your normal day and night rhythm, those little red and green half moons at the beginning of the compass. You had your traumatic experience with, perhaps the breakup. And then the therapist said you will never have use of your hand again. That was another trauma. And then you said you laid awake thinking all night. That's part of the conflict active phase. And so all I'm wanting to suggest is once you learn what this predictable process or program is, you'll start to recognize, oh, I'm sleepless. Oh, I've got thoughts just running through my head. I can't let my thoughts go. You'll recognize you're in the conflict active phase. That will be your clue that you could, who was I speaking with? Is she gone?
Barbara?
Barbara.
She's gone. Well, I'll
She's
finish
gone.
because maybe she lost her internet.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have a separation conflict happening right now. But anyway, the point I'm wanting to make is once you get a little more familiar with this, you will feel, if you feel like me at least, empowered to begin to recognize these different phases that you are in, and that can lead you to understand what to do and when to do it. And that's all I wanted to contribute around that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. So anybody else question, something to share?
Yes, I would like to ask the question. So when the doctor tells you that if you don't have the surgery, you will die.
Yeah.
And up to that point, I was quite all right, and I never had so much fear and anxiety as I have now.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with it? What do you actually do? This is a stupid kind of question, but
No, it's a very smart question, because that's the big question, huh? So
although, excuse me, although I feel that I don't believe it, but some part in me got that impression, got that shock, got
yeah.
that trauma, and I don't know where or how or what do you do?
So I would say, remember those words, go back to that situation where the doctor told you that, and feel in your body what happens when he said that. So go there, go back to that situation. We can do it. I can help you through it, and it's a nice thing for the other people too. So go back to that. When was it? Was it a long time ago, or are you
Oh,
still?
that's recently. That's 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So go back to that situation. The doctor telling you if you don't operate, you'll die. What happens? Go into your body. Where do you feel it in your body? His words. Relax. Does your throat, do you feel a band around your throat? Do you get a stone in your stomach? Do you get a bellyache? Does your heart shrink? What happens to the body?
Well, I get slight pain where the tumor is.
Okay, go to the tumor. Feel the pain. And again, hear the words of the doctor. You die if you don't get operated. And know that it is his perception, his experiences, his education, his consciousness, and that it has nothing to do with you. Feel the pain. Don't call it pain, call it sensations. And relax. What happens?
I feel the anxiety rising
Okay.
in the upper part of my body.
Okay, feel it. Feel the anxiety in your body. Where is it? Just go with your hand towards where the anxiety is worse. The worst.
Well, it's the middle part of the body. I cannot eat.
Okay.
You know.
Good. So go there. Acknowledge the anxiety of your body. It's your body that's afraid of those words. Your body does not want to die. Feel the anxiety in your upper body. Relax. Become limp. Yeah? Relax your jaws. Relax your shoulders. Completely relax and stay with the feeling, the sensations in your upper body. And tell your body, look, it's only his perception and his experiences. It's nothing to do with you. Relax. What happens?
There is a different space I am in.
Mm-hmm. What space? Can you tell me what you mean exactly?
It's kind of empty. There is nothing there.
Okay. How does the space feel? When you're in that empty space, how does it feel? Again, the sensations in your body when you're in that empty space. What happens?
Well, there is none of this anxiety.
Okay, good. So relax, feel the empty space without the anxiety. So this empty space, is that scary?
No, not at
No.
all.
Not at all. So good. So now you've shown your body by recognizing the fear that there's nothing to be afraid of. Because this empty space that it's in fact afraid of is only peaceful. So now go back to the words of the doctor. If you don't get operated, you die. What happens now? I'm limp.
Well, I'm not convinced of that. I don't, actually, when he said it, part of me knew everything that you're talking about, that it is his education, is his view, that, and I really tried to separate from it, but I can see that I did not manage because I was completely overtaken by the anxiety.
Yeah. So go back and forth to that situation every time you go into and know that you're not convinced. Intuitively, you know this is rubbish. Yeah? So you work towards, let your body experience that when you think of it and the fear comes. You go into that empty space that's peaceful, the peaceful empty space, that there is no danger behind it. Until you're so sure that you know what you want to do. And that's very early now, huh? Because where is the tumor? Where do you have a tumor?
It's in the lower part of intestines, rectum.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing is in the lower part of the rectum, if you can still go to the bathroom, then it's fine. The only problematic thing is when the intestine gets stuck.
Well, that's the reason why I at the end opted for the operation, because we don't know the time, Yeah. Right now I'm fine, I go to the toilet maybe a bit more difficulty now, so it is risky. It is risky because then the occlusion is a big problem.
Yeah. The tumor on itself is not a problem. The place where it is
exactly
can be problematic.
So
and then an operation can be
the solution.
A solution.
Yes,
but
I
not
feel
the chemo, not the
no.
the
I
radiation,
decided
not,
already I would not do anything.
in fact, also you have to figure out what was so indigestible for you. Yeah.
Well, my sister died of lung cancer a year ago.
Okay.
And I was diagnosed maybe 3 months later, blood in my stool and the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, blood in your stool now, congratulations, because it was the end of the program. If you would have known that then, you would have thought, okay, of course, my sister died. Logically, that was indigestible, this whole situation, that it caught to me. But you are through the crisis already.
Well, that's how I felt, that actually, from the exams, the tumor got a little bit elongated, they called it. So it seemed like it was a worse situation, but I also thought, well, this can be the resolution.
Yeah.
but at the same time, there is the danger of the occlusion. So I'm very, very torn. I should have the surgery in a week's time, you know, and I'm still not completely sold on it.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that I can say is follow your own heart. I can't give you any advice.
I know.
What is right now for you the best solution? And yet this occlusion, then think in possibilities and feel the possibilities. Let's say you do it. What happens to your body if you say, I'm going on with the surgery in a week? What happens? How does it feel?
Well, right now I feel totally okay about it, actually. This is a funny thing.
Good. What if I tell the possibility I'm not going to do it? What then?
Yeah, there is a little twinge of fear.
Yeah. So, but maybe now, yeah, with what you know now, it is good to go on with it. Then at least it's gone out of your intestines. And then you can start to study this material, become more confident, getting to know your body, feel all the sensations in your body, in your intestines, know what's going on. And then maybe another time you might make another decision. Yeah, but no decisions are wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything has consequences.
Well, you know, I thank you very much for making this clearer for me. And so I feel that even if I do have the surgery, that's part of the healing in a way.
Yeah. Like everything that is around, every treatment, everything has its place in the big theme. And you decide what you want, when you want it, why you want it, how you want it. Yeah, you decide, not a doctor. So feel what is best for you now. And of course, hey, you've had your sister dying a year ago, then your own diagnosis. There's a lot to process there. And there's still, anxiety and fear, and of course. But if that thing, what is in the intestines, if that is gone, you might feel relieved, and then you have bought yourself time to maybe in the future do it differently. And maybe you say, well, this was a very good experience, I'm going to do it again. It's all right. Whatever you decide, it's all right.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else? Question or remark? No?
Maybe just one thing I have. You know, I know Barbara isn't here at the moment, but when you engage to someone, you give them your hand and they put a ring on it, and they, you know, she talked about being engaged and having something conflict there, and her, you know, your hand is with someone else. I just had that in my mind. And I'm so excited by what you present so confidently. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Dorothea?
Dorotha, let me get myself.
Dorotha, yeah, okay.
Hello, hello, yes.
Hi.
This is absolutely genius. And the laws of synchronicity of information that arrive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? by that. For myself, anyway. And astrologers have told me through the years, you were absolutely, by the minute, born on a cusp. You are a scientist and an artist.
Okay.
Yeah, and Roya, for the first time, introduced herself. Roya, you're there. I am a Qigong scientist. Do you remember that, Roya? When you said that in Zoom. And it was the first time that I had heard her with such power and confidence. I am a Qigong scientist. And the tradition of Dr. Pong is both science and the art of Qigong. So thank you very much. This is wonderful. For those of us, I'm in advanced metastatic bladder cancer cell was the original site, and have chosen all the dimensions of healing, everything, Western, oncology specialist, naturopath, supplements, immunotherapies, deep meditations, exercise, everything. And then the foundation for me is consciousness training. And my integrative doctor and MD said, of all these things, and it was coming from an MD doctor who is very genius at knowing all the alternative oncology treatments like the specialized chemos and whatever. Do not, if there's anything that you do not, Dorotha, want to disconnect with, is Qigong. And that was straight from the horse's mouth. And she was in a hospital, you know, a conventional. She started the integrative medicine department and said, oh my God, I have found the right primary integrative doctor for me. So I am so, I went into, maybe it was Carolyn's or whatever, investigation. It is my nature as a scientist to go meticulously into new information. My husband says it's an obsession. So the German new medicine came up for me about 1.5 years ago. It had arrived in my consciousness. This is a more deep dive, but I did go into the bladder cancer territories of trauma.
Territory marking conflict.
Yes, I was reading that and not quite understanding, but I identified with it. And so I would like to pursue, if there's a way to contact you personally, but also just to know about, I think I tried to get on your website and couldn't find it, but Roya will send me that. But stunning, this totally links with Dr. Pong's tradition of
good.
science and art, science and the practice of Qigong. And I just love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Roya will send you, Roya and Linda, and they will send you all the information.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dorotha. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Roya, I haven't heard you yet.
No, I just want to say, Dorotha is a Qi science practitioner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe it should be Qi dancer scientist.
Scientist, yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
But also had the bladder cancer is in fact a healing phase.
What?
The bladder cancer is a healing phase.
I know. All this information, what does it reveal? Well, these limiting beliefs, these shock experiences. And as I go back, there are many different elements of it. And is cancer in the territory? Was it like the territory complex?
Yeah, it's a territory marking. So it's about keeping your boundaries.
Yes, see?
Saying no, don't let anybody come too close, literally or metaphorically.
Oh my gosh, so many.
Yeah.
Not just one experience, but with very mild, just a
Yeah.
little personal, sexual molestation
Yeah.
by a relative. It wasn't penetration, but it was in that area. Okay, there's boundaries, right?
Yeah. It's
The
all
image
about boundaries.
of one is and it's not a bad image, but what was it? You know what I mean? It's like I wish I could know what I was thinking, but there it started, I think.
Yeah.
Less than 5 years old. Didn't go very
Yeah,
long.
that's there's the territory is really the family you live in.
Yeah,
Your parental family. And if the boundaries there are not clear or not safe,
yeah,
that you're not safe there, yeah, you react with a territory conflict. You can be either anxiety or territory loss or territory anger. With aggression, you can react, but also with territory marking. And that's the bladder. Then you start peeing in your pants, actually, you start marking your territory to prevent
oh
others
yeah. Oh,
from getting in there. So I don't know if you ever wet your bed or wet your pants when you were little.
no, my brother had a bad problem with it. But anyway,
Okay.
and then there's other things with the doctor saying you will never have biological children. So I've been in the step children and the adoption and fully accepted. But you know, there's a lot. There's not just one. So,
Yeah.
but I am observing and allowing myself
Yeah.
to have that come into my consciousness for clearing.
Yeah.
So I will contact you personally. I don't want to take up any more group time, but I did start going down that rabbit hole with the bladder and the territory, understanding territory factors. And thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Roya.
Yes, I would like to thank you very much, Miss, and everybody who has been with us this is very late for me. I need to go to bed, and
Yeah, well, it's
want to
9:30
really
here.
say-
It's pretty
and
late for me too.
it has been wonderful. It has been wonderful 2.5 hours, and we could actually continue.
Yeah.
But you and me can be in connect with each other, and then you can send me about your workshop, everything, all in other information. Then I can share it with our group.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm sure that there are some people who would like to attend your
To
workshop.
join Linda and Sylvia in the workshop.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I did put some information on the Google document, Roya, but I doubt that a single person has looked at that Google document.
No,
It's got Misa's link to her course. It's got both of Misa's website links there as well.
Yeah.
But an email, of course, is going to directly get to people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do know that Georgia chatted me privately, Misa, and she does want to join your course.
Okay.
And she wants to register with you, and she is hoping to be able to jump in on tomorrow morning session. So, you know, I don't know if you're going to bed in a few minutes yourself, but
yeah, I'll put in the. I was looking for the chat. Where's the chat? Because here is the
well, she
link.
chatted me directly. She didn't put it where anyone else could see it. She was just asking.
Now, but just for the people here, or you can have, this is the link for the English online workshop, and where you can register is, I think, Trust Your Body. That's below there. I'll put it there too. Zoom.
So you won't need to send her an invoice like you did with me?
Yeah, we'll have to see that how we do that.
Okay.
So I don't know where she is. I think people from the States
she had to leave.
should go through PayPal. And yeah, others, if they're in Europe or have a connection in Europe, then it's easier.
Please, I suggest that you stop the recording now.
Okay.
Yeah. And I say goodbye to you. So I'm going to contact you tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah.